Right now, you are doing something you will do around 25,000 times before this day ends. You were doing it before you read this sentence. You'll keep doing it long after you forget these words. It's breathing. You never think about it. Why would you? It runs on its own, silent and automatic, from your first second of life to your last. But here is the strange part. Of all the millions of animals on this planet, you belong to one of the only species that regularly breathes badly, that chokes on its own food, that snores and gasps and wakes in the dark, quietly fighting for air, and the reason is far stranger than you would guess. The way you breathe was not carefully designed. It was slowly broken, recently, by your own kind. Start with the most basic question you may never have asked. Are you breathing through your mouth or your nose? They both pull air into the same lungs, so they feel interchangeable. No real difference, surely. There is an enormous difference. To prove it, a science journalist named James Nestor did something almost nobody would agree to. Working with a breathing researcher named Anders Olsen and monitored by doctors at Stanford under the rhinologist Jayakar Nayak, Nestor had his nostrils sealed shut with silicone. For 10 full days, he breathed only through his mouth, the way millions breathe every single night without realizing it. It was ugly. His snoring exploded. He developed sleep apnea, his breath stopping and starting as he slept. His blood pressure climbed. His energy collapsed. A healthy man was quietly falling apart. Then they removed the plugs, and for 10 days he breathed only through his nose. Almost all of it reversed. So what is the nose doing that the mouth cannot? As you inhale, it filters out dust and pollen, warms cold air, and adds moisture. It even releases a gas called nitric oxide, which widens your blood vessels and helps your lungs pull far more oxygen from each breath. Breathe through your nose and you absorb meaningfully more oxygen than through your mouth. Your nose was always the main event, but the deepest secret turns it all upside down. You believe you breathe to get oxygen in. That is only half true. You mostly breathe to push carbon dioxide out, and here it gets strange. You were taught that carbon dioxide is simply waste. It isn't. Over a century ago, a scientist named Christian Bohr discovered that carbon dioxide is the very signal that unlocks oxygen from your blood and delivers it into your tissues. Without enough of it, the oxygen stays stuck in your bloodstream, riding past the cells that are starving for it. Sit with that. If you gulp air in a panic or huff through your mouth all day, you blow off too much carbon dioxide, and your body, flooded with oxygen it cannot use, delivers less where it matters. You can breathe harder and suffocate your own cells. A Ukrainian doctor named Konstantin Budiko built a whole practice around this in the 1950s. His conclusion was blunt. Most people breathe too much, too fast, too shallow, too often. The healthier pattern is slow, quiet, and low, around 5 or 6 breaths a minute. And here is a detail that should raise the hair on your arms. When researchers went looking for that ideal rhythm, they found it in the strangest places. The Latin rosary, murmured by monks, the chants of Buddhist meditation, the breathwork of ancient yoga. Measured today, nearly all settle into almost exactly the same pace, around 5.5 breaths a minute. Cultures that never met discovered the same rhythm and wove it into their deepest rituals. They had no science. They just felt what it did to the body and called it holy. There is a reason it feels calming. Slow nasal breathing gently taps the vagus nerve, the long wandering nerve that tells your heart to steady and your body to relax. Fast, panicked breathing does the opposite, telling your brain that danger is near. You have felt both. The racing chest before something scary. The long, slow sigh that lets your shoulders drop. That was chemistry, and you were steering it without knowing, which raises an obvious question. If slow nasal breathing is so clearly better, why is the human race so bad at it? Why are so many of us stuffed up, snoring, mouth breathing? The answer is written in bone. Two researchers, an orthodontist named Kevin Boyd and a dentist named Mariana Evans, spent years studying ancient human skulls. And they noticed something that should not be possible. These people, who never owned a toothbrush, never wore braces, had almost perfectly straight teeth, wide jaws, broad nasal passages, huge airways. Now look in a modern mouth. Crowded, crooked teeth, narrow jaws, wisdom teeth that no longer fit. Roughly half of us can't breathe cleanly through our own noses. In a few hundred years, the human face has shrunk, and our airways have collapsed inward with it. Something changed, far too fast for slow genetic evolution to explain. Back in the 1930s, a curious dentist named Weston Price went looking for the cause. He visited communities still eating traditional diets, tough, hard, unprocessed food. Their faces were wide. Their teeth were straight. Their airways were open. But when those same families started eating soft, modern food, their very next generation grew up with narrow faces, crowded teeth, and pinched airways. One generation. That was all it took. The culprit was hiding in plain sight. It was chewing, the loss of it. Your jaw is bone, and bone grows to meet the demands you place on it. Ancient humans chewed tough roots and raw fibers for hours a day, and all that work told the jaw to grow wide and strong. But we cook everything soft. We blend, we process, we barely chew. And a jaw never asked to work never grows to full size. Smaller jaw, crowded teeth, blocked airway. You did not inherit a broken face from a distant caveman. You inherited it from the last few generations of soft, modern food. So think about your own body right now. That dry, sticky mouth you wake up with is a night spent breathing through parted lips. That stuffy nose you've learned to live with. The snoring. The strange 3 a.m. wake-ups where you surface gasping and never know why. These are not random malfunctions. They are the quiet echoes of a change your species made to itself, in the blink of an evolutionary eye. But here is the part that should lift your head. Breathing is unique. It is the only one of your body's automatic systems that you can also seize and steer by hand. Your heartbeat, your digestion, your hormones, all of it runs without you. But your breath obeys the moment you take the wheel. You cannot undo evolution. You cannot regrow the wide jaw your ancestors carried. But you can close your mouth. You can breathe through your nose, especially in sleep. You can slow down toward those 5 or 6 deep, quiet breaths a minute. Small, ancient things your body was always waiting for you to remember. So, right now, you are breathing. Still doing what you have done 25,000 times today without a single thought. Only now you know the truth. That silent, automatic act was never as simple as it seemed. It shaped your face, your sleep, your blood, your mind, your entire life. And for the first time, you get to decide how the next breath goes. So close your mouth, slow it down, and breathe the way your body has been begging you to all along.